Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Now today I'm going to be talking about the Charlotte Oval 1 weekend for Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks. Yes, this video is pretty late, I apologize. The Cup and Xfinity Series races, they were delayed quite a bit, so that's why it's out, probably maybe around Tuesday or Wednesday. So let's get right into it, and because by me making this video, which is on the 30th of May, which is a Tuesday, the schedule for some reason, so the weekend schedule that I normally do at the very beginning of these videos, it's not out yet for some reason. I can't access it, so we have to now go with the old-fashioned way and basically talk about basically individual races. So each series the next race, which is for the Cup Series, which is the Worldwide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway. That'll be on for the running of the Enjoy Illinois 300 presented by Ticket Smarter. That'll be on FS1, MRN, and SiriusXM. While that's also happening, the Xfinity Series will be going to Portland International Raceway at Portland, Oregon. That'll be for the running in of the Pacific Office Automation 147. That'll be on FS1, MRN, and SiriusXM. And then the Truck Series, that'll be also at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, along with the Cup Series for the running in of the Toyota 200, once again, as well at Madison, Illinois. So, with that out of the way, let's now talk about the Truck Series results. So here are the results for the Truck Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it was Ben Rhodes winning the race, his first win in the season. I'm pretty sure also the first win for Ford in the Truck Series at Charlotte, which is pretty weird. And then we got Corey Heim, Dean Thompson, Carson Hoecevar, Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes, Timon Jeske, Matt Benedetto, Nick Sanchez, and Taylor Gray ran out of the top 10. Shout out to Nick Sanchez from going from the back of the field in 34th, I'm pretty sure he started, to 9th, which is a really, really good result for him. Then we got Roger Carruth, Matt Crafton, then Bailey Curry, David Gilliland, and Jake Garcia ran out of the top 15. Not a lot of stuff really happened in this race, I'll be honest. It was just very clean. Stage 1, 2, nothing really interesting happened. I mean, Corey Heim won Stage 1, Hoecevar won Stage 2, nothing really surprises there. But the main one I kind of want to talk about is that I'm pretty sure it was the first actual crash incident of the race, in which was Amani Williams driving for G2G Racing. He spun out, exiting turn 4, and hit the concrete inside inside a pit road. So I'm pretty sure there's like a little cutout of pit road, mostly for emergency vehicles to come in and out. And I'm pretty sure he basically hit that wall. I'm pretty sure directly. But it was a pretty scary wreck. I'm gonna guess it was maybe going around, I don't know when he hit the impact. I'm gonna say maybe 120 miles per hour. And then he was probably going around like 80 or 90 miles per hour until he got to a stop at pit road, which is pretty scary. But luckily, no one was hurt there, which is at least it is a good sign. The other one I want to talk about though is this little battle that we had at the I'm pretty sure like the final like 2 laps, maybe 3 laps in the race. It was between Corey Heim, Dean Thompson, Carson Hoecevar, and Grant Enfinger. Mainly, it was Heim, Thompson, and Hoecevar, and then later into the race when it's like 2 laps to go probably, Enfinger caught up to both of them, all 3 of those drivers. So it was a really good battle. Like Ben Rhodes, he was running away with it. I'll be honest, he definitely had the truck to beat. But I mean, that's a Heim, like Corey Heim, he led quite a lot of races. I mean, definitely Heim and Hoecevar, they had like the best trucks of the night. Rose probably next. Dean Thompson, he had a very, very good race. I was hoping that he would at least pass his teammate Corey Heim for second place and maybe contest with Ben Rhodes for the win, but obviously that didn't really happen. Grant Enfinger, he was just kind of nowhere. I kind of forgot about him, I'll be honest. He just hasn't really been anywhere in this race. But yeah, it was mainly just Heim, Thompson, Hoecevar. They were battling for a bit, of then Grant Enfinger, he came in fully 2 laps or a lap to go and had a little battle with them as well. It was really entertaining. There was a couple close wrecks. Like I think like Timon Jeske, he made a great save. I'm pretty sure like really early on into the race. Pretty sure he was up against like Nick Sanchez. I'm pretty sure. and nothing really else really happened in this race other than like Zane Smith. He spun out in front of the field and collected Hailie Deegan. Zane's weird mediocre year goes from bad to worse with that, but yes, I saw from those races. Just not much really happened other than as well. Another thing I forgot to mention is that Jack Wood and Chris Wright, they also had a collision as well in the backstretch, and Chris Wright's team was not happy with not Jack Wood, how Ankrum. I don't know why I said Jack Wood. Ankrum and Wright had an incident in the backstretch, and Chris Wright's team wasn't happy with Tyler Ankrum, but whatever. Here are the other figures outside of the top 15. There's Amani Williams that I talked about in 35th place. Keith McGee, he basically parked it pretty early on. There's Hailie Deegan, who I'm pretty sure went a couple laps down, I think like 5 laps down, I'm pretty sure. Chris Ryan, 32nd. What else? That's Tyler Ankrum. He was involved with Chris Wright down 28th. Tanner Gray, pulsed it up, went backwards. And then Zane Smith in 23rd after spinning out and collected Hailie Deegan in the meantime. So with that out of the way, let's now talk about the Xfinity Series results. So for the Xfinity Series results, that was won by Justin Allgaier. In second place, John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer, Austin Hill, Ty Gibbs, Parker Retzlaff, Jeff Burton, Carson Hoecevar, Brian Jones, and Sammy Smith ran out the top 10. Then we got Kyle Sieg, Justin Haley, Chandler Smith, Riley Herbst, and Josh Berry ran out the top 15. Now obviously this race was delayed, like 3 times maybe. Obviously, the first one when it was scheduled, the second one, actually, yeah, might be actually 2 times probably. The second one when they almost went, so I'm pretty sure they completed stage 1, and then it started to rain, and they delayed it until after the Cup Series. I'm pretty sure they also delayed it again as well. So it was an interesting time for the Xfinity Series. But 2 drivers failed to qualify, that being Timmy Hill and CJ McLaughlin. That's obviously because of bonus points and stuff. Even though the qualifying was not based on onus points, it was just based off timing. So let's just talk about stuff that happened. The first one I want to talk about is Sam Mayer. Obviously, he's had a bit of a sophomore year this season. Obviously, his rookie season last year was actually pretty decent for a rookie. Now he's just kind of been up and down most of the time, but he crashed on the backstretch. It doesn't really go well for Sam Mayer. I'm pretty sure he just got loose and hit the outside wall, and when it was running, like the fender decided just to break and all that other stuff. I'm guessing like tire was shredded, but yeah. So Mayer's season from 2023 continues from bad to worse. I don't know where he is in the standings right now, but obviously we'll have a look after the results. But no really good day for Sam Mayer, because I thought he was running pretty well, even though on the inside wall he actually didn't hit it that hard. But he's just been kind of nowhere this season, I'll be honest, which really sucks. But hopefully he'll finally get that first win soon for Junior Motorsports, just like how Justin Allgaier did for Junior Motorsports in this race. Another one, obviously, Ty Gibbs. He was maybe the most dominant car, probably. It was definitely like Ty Gibbs, Nemechek, and Allgaier. Those 3 drivers are definitely the cars to beat. And Gibbs, obviously, he won both stages, and he had a bit of an issue early on with the radio button being stuck. It was basically just static for him, so you can imagine how annoying it is. Going obviously like on 180 miles per hour around Charlotte Motor Speedway when trying to communicate with your team about strategy and stuff, and then just hearing just a constant static in your ears. So you can imagine of how annoyed he got. Which is fair enough. He didn't have a good Cup Series race, supposedly. We'll get to that later. But yeah, he was doing double duty along with Justin Haley. And let's talk about Justin Haley for a bit, because apparently in a stat that I saw on Twitter, he completed, I'm pretty sure, the most amount of miles in a NASCAR sanctioned event. I'm not counting Tony Stewart's 2001, 2002, when obviously he did the double. the Indy 500 and the NASCAR Coca-Cola 600. I don't count that. He completed 898.5 miles, or I should say 898.5 miles. It could have been 900. Obviously, if he didn't get a lap down in this race. And plus, he was actually supposed to race in the Xfinity Series race. It was actually supposed to be Kyle Busch, but he opted out, and Justin Haley basically got in pretty last minute. So he actually did a really good job, basically as the quote-unquote emergency sub. So I think Haley, good job on him. Just, yeah, you can imagine how exhausted he was after the race. And obviously the other one, Justin Allgaier, he won over a fuel mileage race. Yeah, it was just fuel mileage, mainly this race was. I mean, it's pretty normal. In like long races like Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's mainly on fuel mileage and stuff. But yeah, Allgaier, he did a good job, saved his fuel, and got GM Motorsports' first win this season, and his first win as well this season as well, and locked themselves into the playoffs. Let's now have a look at the yellow drivers outside of the top 15. There's Sam Mayer down in 35th place, like I talked about beforehand. Hemrick, I'm pretty sure he was lapped down pretty early on, and he was still lapped down. He's 2 laps down, so not really good. A good weekend for Hemrick. Parker Kligerman, he was really fast early on as well, and just he kind of struggled. I'm not too sure what happened to him, but it might be an electrical issue or even an engine issue, so he had to go behind the wall, but luckily came back, but he is classified down in last place in 38th place. So let's now move over now to the Cup Series results. Finally, Ryan Blaney finally wins the NASCAR race, a points-paid NASCAR race, I should say. It took him 59 races to snap that winless streak. Yeah, it's been a while. Second place to Blaney is William Byron, then Martin Truex Jr., Bob Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Chris Buescher, Austin Dillon, and shout out to Zane Smith, who gets his first top 10 in the Cup Series. He also led 3 laps as well. And then we got Kevin Harvick, Alex Bowman, Ryan Preece, AJ Allmendinger, and Justin Haley ran out the top 15. Obviously, shout out to Alex Bowman, who came back after his leg injury in the dirt. Was it dirt? I'm pretty sure it was a dirt crash. Might be wrong about that. But this was his first race back after maybe Richmond, I'm pretty sure. Might be wrong. But yeah, it has been a while since we've seen Alex Bowman in that 48 car. Let's first talk about one thing. Let's talk about Almirola versus Bob Wallace. And this was actually captured on a Twitter video, which I'm going to try and find. I'm not too sure what actually happened. I'm pretty sure Almirola, or I think Wallace didn't give Almirola enough space, and Almirola wasn't too happy. Wallace then flipped him off, and then they exchanged words, giving the red flag on due to rain, and Almirola shoved Wallace. And I will say this to Wallace: obviously, he has obviously had a how do I put this? A bit of a history with shoving. Obviously, the most prominent one is Kyle Larson from last year in Las Vegas. He's a bit of a hothead, but luckily he kept his cool, which is a good sign, and that got him into 4th place, which is a great sign once again for Bob Wallace and his playoff chances. As for Almirola, though, he did not finish inside of the top 20. So yeah, not that great for Almirola, but at least if you're a Bob Wallace fan, at least your driver did very well inside of the top 5 with his teammate Tyler Reddick. As for the team owner of 2311 Racing, Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott, they tangle once again. Obviously, this is a bit of a repeat of 2017 Martinsville, but this time I really fear Chase Elliott might be getting punished for this. Obviously, if you don't know what happened, Hamlin moved Elliott up a bit on the front stretch, and he basically did up a Wallace on Kyle Larson in Las Vegas. He basically did the exact same thing to Denny Hamlin. What is with Hendrick cars and getting tangles with 2311 Racing, or I should say Denny Hamlin as well, because I think he's technically still part of 2311. So that was
interesting. And obviously Elliott in his post, basically in his interview, basically said, "Oh well, I did not do it on purpose." Well, Denny Hamlin on Twitter then posted basically telemetry of Elliott right hooking him into the outside wall of the dog leg. And I think I said this as well about Wallace, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna say the exact same thing about Chase Elliott. Just suspend him. I know it may not be popular. Obviously, he is the most popular driver in NASCAR, and obviously the ratings are gonna go down and stuff. But seriously, we need to stop right hooking drivers in the dog leg, especially, and basically, especially for Hamlin, who basically hit the wall like head on, and you can only imagine of how much that actually wounded him. Even Hamlin I'm pretty sure also said that he should be parked for it. I totally agree. It makes sense because he right hooked Hamlin, who it wasn't even like it was so blatant that he just right hooked him. So I am expecting. I'm pretty sure NASCAR is looking at the video right now. They're looking obviously at the telemetry and stuff. We may get some news about it. I may cover it, but we'll see. But that's gonna be pretty big if Chase Elliott is indeed suspended. I think he should be suspended, in my opinion. But we'll see what NASCAR does. Like if it's a fine or like points deduction, maybe that's alright. But it needs to be it needs to be severe. It really needs to be. It needs to send the drivers a message to never do that ever again. And even though that was gonna happen with Bob Wallace, and he was suspended for one race, could Chase Elliott also be suspended at Gateway, where obviously he had that little run-in with Ross Chastain? We'll see how that goes. But I am expecting some big news coming from NASCAR very soon. One thing I also mentioned as well, there was a multi-car wreck that took out Larson, Ty Gibbs, some other drivers as well that was taken out. But yeah, those, I'll be honest, that multi-car crash not as big as Chase Elliott and Denny Hamlin coming together, and even Aaron Roller and Wallace exchanging words. So let's now have a look at the other drivers outside of the top 15 as I scroll down a bit far. Shout out to JJ Ailey, making it up to 16th place. Who else can we talk about? Ty Gibbs down in 26. Obviously, he was part of the accident with Kyle Larson, who is down in 30th. Jimmy Johnson, he had a horrendous day. I'm pretty sure he spent it like twice, I'm pretty sure. Then Denny Hamlin down in 35th. Chase Elliott down in 34th. And that's really all I really have to say. But what is Amarola? 25th. Eric Amarola, 25th in the last driver on the lead lap. So, yeah, that's really all from Charlotte. Let's now talk about the Truck Series standings. So for the Truck Series, Corey Heim is now the leader. I'm pretty sure he was the leader coming into this race, but I might be wrong. 26 points in front of Ty Majeski. Then we got Zane Smith, Grant Finger, Ben Rhodes, Christian Eckes, Matt Crafton, Carson Hoecevar, Tanner Gray, and Matthew Benedetto ran out the top 10. Then we got Stuart Friesen, Nicholas Sanchez, Chase Purdy, Jake Garcia, Tyler Ingram, Haley Deegan, Roger Kurtz, Colby Howard, Daniel Dye, and Dean Thompson ran out the top 20. Here are the playoffs. Obviously, Ben Rhodes, he locks himself into the playoffs, along with Heim, Smith, Eckes, Enfinger, and Hoecevar. Behind Heim, Smith, Eckes, Enfinger, and Rhodes is Ty Majeski in 6th place, plus 119 above the cut line. He's practically in, probably via points. Then behind Carson Hoecevar is Matt Crafton, plus 35, Tanner Gray, plus 7, and Matthew Benedetto, plus 1 above the cut line. Obviously, the closest one is Stuart Friesen, and minus 1 below the cut line. Let's now talk about the Xfinity Series standings. So the Xfinity Series standings, John Hunter Nemechek is now 10 points in front of Austin Hill, and 50 points in front of Justin Allgaier, who obviously got that win at Charlotte. Then we got Cole Custer, Josh Berry, Chandler Smith, Sheldon Creed, Sammy Smith, Riley Herbst, and Daniel Hemrick ran out the top 10. And then we got Sam Mayer, Jeff Burden, Brennan Jones, Parker Kligerman, Ryan Sieg, Parker Retzlaff, Brad Mumford, Kaz Gralla, Ryan Truex, and Jeremy Clements ran out the top 20. Playoffs, obviously, Allgaier, he locked himself into the playoffs after that win at Charlotte. Obviously, the top four is also occupied by winning drivers: Nemechek, Hill, Allgaier, and Chandler Smith. Then we got Cole Custer in 5th, plus 108 above the cut line. And then we got Sammy Smith and Josh Berry, plus 97 above the cut line, who is rumored to be going to short horse racing next year, but we'll see if that's true. And then Jeb Burden, who obviously won at Talladega. Then Sheldon Creed, plus 56. Riley Herbst, plus 42. Daniel Hemrick, plus 34. And Sam Mayer, plus 20 above the cut line. The closest driver is currently Brandon Jones, minus 20 below the cut line. Let's now move over now to the Cup Series standings. So Ross Chastain is still in the lead, but only by 1 point over Ryan Blaney and 4 points over William Byron. Then we got Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, and Kyle Busch right out the top 10. Then we got Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Joe Logano, Bob Wallace, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, Ty Gibbs, Daniel Suarez, and Corey LaJoie right out the top 20. Playoff standings, obviously Blaney, he locks himself into the playoffs. Byron is still the first seed in the playoffs. Then behind him is Chastain, Ross Chastain, plus 154 above the cut line. Then we got Blaney, Larson, Truex, Busch, Reddick, Bell, and Hamlin. Then we got Kevin Harvick, plus 146 above the cut line. Obviously, he's in 10th place. Then behind Logano and Stenhouse, we've got Brad Keselowski, plus 102 above the cut line. Chris Buescher, plus 76 above the cut line. Bob Wallace, plus 35. And Alex Bowman, plus 4 above the cut line. The closest one is currently Chase Briscoe, minus 4 below the cut line. So just a reminder that next week's set of races, so the Worldwide Technology Raceway, that'll be the host for the next Cup Series race and the next Truck Series race, and the Xfinity Series, they'll be going to Portland International Raceway. So that's really about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys next time in the next one. Goodbye.